No! No! You! But I want to. Yes, I love the bell. I love the bell. That means go. Yeah. Hi, I'm Marilyn Harris.
And I'm Percy Smith, Marilyn's husband. I wasn't on the show, but I'm here with
My
her
man.
for support.
And more than that. Okay.
Okay.
We are Victoriously Crazy Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And Victoriously Crazy is on vacation. You could probably tell by the way we're all dressed here. We got our vacation clothes on. We're on a trip to Yerba, baby.
Yerba, baby.
So we could meet a very esteemed, important actor.
That's right.
From Victorious.
Mm-hmm.
He played the Chancellor. The Chancellor. That means the king, the man, the boss of Yerba.
That's right.
In a 1-hour special called Locked Up. Here he is.
Mueen Jahan.
Yes.
That's him.
How you guys doing? Thank you for inviting me to this. It's been a long time. Thanks for bringing back some memories.
Oh my God. What's the weather like in Yerba?
It's so I would say it's not too different from Southern California because it's a Mediterranean country. We got summer and when it's not summer, it's just fall and spring.
Oh, that's pleasant. I could deal with that.
Yeah, our winter consists of a lot of rain.
I always say it, Yerba. I always, for some reason, it just runs off my tongue.
Yes, bodies.
Bodies, yes.
Bodies. That's right. That's right.
Bennett, are you okay, or is that a costume for something?
I punched him in the eye. No, he's showing his adoration for you because you wore. Yeah, you get it.
You did that to me on purpose.
Yes, you did. There's that accent.
I was gonna see how long it's gonna take him to see. It's like, dude, you okay, man? You all right?
You did that on purpose.
Yes.
On purpose. On purpose. That's funny. That's funny. Can you tell us your audition story? Something that stood out.
Yeah, your audition story for Victorious. I mean, what was that like?
I'm not really sure what stood out for me and the other people because I didn't get to see the other people. But I remember I worked really hard on it. And they told me, I'm really good with accents. So they told me, try to make your accent very similar to the gentleman on the gentleman on Victorious, the street vendor guy who was from the fictional country.
Oh, Festus.
I can't.
Oh,
Festus.
yeah.
Right.
Bennett knows.
Yeah. So I watched the show and I tend to, when I do accents, sometimes if I'm not familiar with an accent, I'll take two accents that I already know and put them together. So basically what I did was, I can't even remember, it was like so long ago. It was a combination of like Russian and Persian or something like that. But I just remember not even thinking of it that way. I just listened to the gentleman who played Festus, right? And I just watched him over and over. So I memorized the lines for the audition scene, and then I just went in there, and I remember it being in the lobby of Nickelodeon's building on Sunset.
Oh yeah, that's where
which is no longer there anymore.
I know, it's crazy. Oh, it's not.
Yeah, yeah. So but I remember it, the audition being there. It was the scene where I can't remember the exact lines, but it was like, I was accusing them, and then I kept pointing in the wrong direction, and I had to correct myself.
Oh, that was one of my
so I guess, and that's what I did. It was with a reader, a casting director, and I just remember, I was exhausted. I had just driven 2 hours from Hemet, and next thing I know, I think a couple of days later, they gave me the call and said, I got the part. Now, the part was, I think, originally offered to Joe Marinelli, who played my right hand, he's still a good friend of mine. He was just on the offer. Joe Marinelli, if you'll remember the episode, he's a taller Italian-looking gentleman with a white hair. And he said, octopus. And he had accidentally said octopus, and they wrote it in. But I think the part was originally supposed to go to him, but I don't know how it came to me. But his part was equally to the size of mine. But I think they might have felt that I might have my skin tone might have been more appropriate
Yeah.
for
Vision. It probably was just vision.
to what they, yeah, because it's a fictional country. It was a fictional country,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it was supposed to be like, you know, somewhere in between the Middle East and Eastern Europe. That's what I remember of the casting. I just remember having a real good time with it and just being real goofy and doing the lines and then doing the lines again. And then she gave me some adjustments and I did her adjustments. And then I think 2 days later I got the call that I was, and it was exciting for me. It was my first real big break, you know.
Oh,
Before,
wow.
Oh,
yeah, it was because I had gotten to LA in 19 I think it was 1998 to chase the dream, you know, and to become a Hollywood star and all that. And and I had gotten a few roles, small roles here and there. I did a one-liner on Sopranos and
ooh,
and I did thing in Law and Order. And this was all while I was on Broadway in New York.
Okay.
wow.
Yeah, and
Well,
I had done one line on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So when I got victorious, it was like, wow, it was like I was a major guest star, and it was um, it was unbelievable. My life in real life, it was such a juxtaposition because in real life I was struggling so bad while I was shoot. Yeah, while I was shooting it because I was living with my dad in Hemet, California. It's a tough town. It was on the low income end and it was a lot of crime and I was struggling. I was living with my father. I was like 36, 37 at the time, and I was driving a cab on the weekends. And it was so surreal because I'd be driving a cab on the weekends and then I'd drive 3 hours to Hollywood to get star treatment, you
it does
know.
mess with your head.
Yeah, to get star treatment as the Chancellor of Europe. And I was like, so this is what it's going to be like. I could get used to it.
Yeah,
Then I drive home 2 hours to the ghetto again and drive a
yeah.
cab the next day. It was kind of weird.
So did you
Yeah.
maintain that Chancellor personality when you got home?
Say, Father, sit down.
Yeah,
Don't
unfortunately,
talk.
no.
Where's my throne?
Well, my father is my Chancellor of Europe, so there's no way I would have
Oh,
gotten
how
away with that.
Oh, of
sweet.
course. Now we're just joking. We're just joking.
It was weird too because I thought the contract would be a little bigger, but it was only 2,000 a week. But at that time, for me, it was
That's
a lot.
big.
Oh,
That's
okay.
That's
good.
big.
Okay.
But
Back then.
nowadays you get. I just shot an episode of. I'm on a show right now called The Sex Lives of College Girls on HBO, and
Oh, I
Oh, I've
seen the
seen
billboard.
billboards.
Yeah, I seen that
yeah,
billboard.
yeah, and like for one episode of that, I got $10,000. So
Okay.
it's like I
Wow.
think each network has their own individual contracts. I think Nickelodeon's probably a lower tier, so you get paid by the week or something like that. I don't really understand how it all works,
And a
but
lot of their actors are children. If
exactly.
you think about it, so when you have a child that books a show, they're not expecting big salaries. They're beginning and they're happy to get the
They're
part, and
just happy to be
they
there,
give them
right?
something above what they even think it might be, but
Yeah.
it still could be low compared to an adult actor in the industry, but it's still
Right.
an opportunity.
For me, it was just exciting to be a major guest star on it was a 2 week contract, and the money for me at that time was a lot, so I was excited. I actually bought a new car when I got paid. And,
Ooh, you
Oh,
go, boy.
that's right.
because I didn't have a car, I was driving a
Yeah,
taxi. So,
yeah.
but it was a down payment. It was enough for a down payment on a car in
Great.
2008.
That's awesome.
Great. Do you have any memories about meeting the cast?
I do. This was before Ariana Grande became as huge as she is now, because
Yeah.
she was one of the
Yes,
cast
she was
members.
sweet. Yeah.
Now I remember out of all the cast members, she was the sweetest to me and the
There you
most
go.
Yes.
most
Everyone says that.
Open. Yeah.
she was the most friendly to me. I think that was also because both Ariana and Gry had musical theater backgrounds. I had just done Broadway, and I know she had an aspirations, of course, to be, she's a big pop star now, but she was sweet. She was very kind. She always
Hmm.
talked to me. She came up to me and got a took a picture with me that I didn't even know of because I had the patches on my eyes. I think I showed you the picture, Bennett. But she was the sweetest. She was the fun. She was the most social. Victoria, she was nice too. She was a little more straight laced. I mean, wasn't. I think she had a lot on her plate, but she was friendly. She was sweet. The rest of the cast, they were friendly, but they weren't like, terribly social with me at all. They were doing their own thing, but I think was Ariana was the sweetest and the most I got to know of anybody. And Victoria, I remember, was very nice. Also, she talked to me every day on set, so it was nice. Every day it was like how you doing? How was your drive in and that sort of thing. And the rest of the cast, I mean, they just said hello and goodbye, but they weren't really interested in making any like like deep conversation with me, which is fine. This is fine. I get it. And also the gentleman who played the teacher.
Oh,
Eric Lage. He's in big stuff. I mean, he's in like A-list stuff.
There were a lot of interesting characters in Locked Up. I couldn't imagine what the table read was like. Did you do a table read? It was a wild script.
I did do the table read. But I think at the table read that I attended, it was just the main cast, and they had other people reading the smaller roles. So it was the main cast that was there, myself, and I think that was it. And I know all the other smaller parts that were in both episodes, I think they had like assistants or something read the rest of those roles.
Well, you know what? When you're a guest star, that means you are so special.
That's right.
You really are.
Believe it. I love it.
You are. And it's crazy how the sets looked like a different country. Mm-hmm. And your office was so elaborate. They even had a painting of you. Yeah. What was your reaction when you saw the painting and the set?
I wanted to take it home.
They didn't give it to you?
No, it's too big. I didn't have anywhere to put it. But I wanted to take it home. I mean, but I was like, I don't know. Do I want a picture of me looking like a dictator?
Yeah, man. Yes. It's at home, man.
Can you imagine me taking that home and putting it on the wall? Yeah. My dad would be like, what is this picture? What are you doing?
Oh, you're a king now? Yeah. You're a king now? You're not the king of me.
You're not the king of me.
I can hear it. I can write
it. I got to tell you guys something. When we did towards the end, the big dance scene, the big dance.
Yes, we love that.
At the end. Yeah. So that was out in that parking lot on Sunset.
Wow.
That was outside?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they had a big picture, that same picture of me. It's the size of a 2-story building. That picture. And I'm like,
wow.
And just to look up, to walk out on set and see this gigantic picture of me, as the dictator, doing the whole Hitler or whatever thing. That look, with the whole costume and it was like, I got goosebumps seeing that. I mean, to walk on set and do you see a picture of a painting of myself the size of a 2-story building?
TV role too.
Yeah, it was huge. Because it was an hour show and they're usually 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So it was like a special.
They chopped it up in 2 episodes, but So that was exciting to see that picture. Wow. I got really excited, and
you must have really felt like you made it as an actor.
It's funny, I did, but not to rain on any parade, but I went back to struggling and auditioning again. I thought this would open some doors, but I did get a lot of auditions for more Nickelodeon shows, but I didn't really book anything major for a while. I kept getting the one-liners here and there, and I continued to get stuff. I worked on Numbers. I worked on Fresh Off the Boat.
Oh, I love that show. Yeah.
I got to do a guest star on New Girl. Mm-hmm. But nothing really equated that level until I just recently got The Sex Lives of College Girls on HBO
Ooh.
Max. It's by producer Mindy Kaling. I play the father of Amrit Kaur, who plays Bella. The basically the show is about four college girls who come together. It's a fiction college.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fictional college where these four random girls from different walks of life come together as roommates, and it's an R-rated show, so it's got a bit of an edge to it.
Yeah.
And basically, the whole show is basically about all their sexual exploits and all the situation comedy that evolves around that. And I played the father of the Indian girl, Bella, Amrit Kaur,
Uh-huh.
and I pop in and out. I'm on 2 episodes in the first season, episode 1 and episode 6, and then I did shoot an episode for the second season, but unfortunately, nature of the beast in Hollywood, sometimes it just ends up on the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess when they look back over it, they said they flew me up to Seattle. We shot the episode, but sometimes they discovered that it doesn't really move the story forward, or they feel like maybe we're going to change the focus on maybe one of the other characters.
Right.
So I didn't end up in the second season. I think they're shooting the third season right now. I haven't been told if I'm going to come back on it or not, but yeah. So I thought it was going to change, but I think it's just the nature of the beast. Who
Yeah.
knows?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
I the other irony was, when the show premiered on the air, it was a little bit bittersweet because I thought there would be a big screening party with a bunch of friends or family, but I was by myself in the guest of the senior citizen complex that my dad lived on.
Uh-huh.
And there's a guest house. There's a house where they do the laundry and where they go to read, and where the main office is. Because we didn't really have a TV that had all the cable channels, so I had to go into the guest house and watch it by myself on the night that it aired. So it was a little weird. It was exciting, but it was just kind of, like I said, a juxtaposition of the experience I had on the show, and then to leave set and then just go back to my normal life. I was hoping it would change things. I mean, I kept working and I kept getting noticed, and it didn't like shoot me up to a level where I didn't have to work a survival job anymore. Have success and then not have success, and then have success and then go back to struggling. And then there's other people who will come out here for maybe 6 months and then they'll land that role. And then there's other actors who will be guest stars who just go from show to show to show to show to show. They're never really a series regular, but they're that guy. Do you guys know
They're
what
working.
I mean?
Yeah. You see the face all the time, or in commercials, you could actually see the same person all the time.
I would love, you guys watch all these shows and you see that that actor that's on everything, but you don't know exactly what their name is.
Yes.
That actor that works just as much as Brad Pitt or George Clooney, has just as many leads, but you don't know what their name is, but you see them in everything. I wouldn't mind being that actor.
Oh, yeah.
You are that actor.
Cha-ching, baby.
You are.
Cha-ching.
Visualize it.
I'm a dreamer, and I will never give up through all the struggles. And I just, it's one pact I made with myself.
I like that.
Never give up.
Never give up.
Speaking of lines and scenes, when you did your Locked Up episode, did you have a favorite scene?
We want to do a show for you. We want you to see us. And my line was, I can't see nothing. All I see is black nothing. How am I supposed to watch your show? All I see is black nothing.
Because your eyes. I think Bennett is putting on the other patch.
He's over there working.
Because you were double patched.
I know. I kept wondering about that.
I know. Can you see anything?
All I see is black. Nothing.
All you see, is black. Nothing.
I think that was my favorite line.
It was funny. It was funny.
Yeah.
So when Tori kicked her shoe and it entered your eye, that was a crazy stunt. How did they do that? I know she didn't really kick you in the eye.
No. Okay. So they do a shot. They do a shot on her kicking her real shoe. I was
Okay.
nowhere. The camera's on her. She's just
Dig it.
kicking her shoe.
Dig it.
Okay.
I'm nowhere to be found. I'm standing off set watching her do it. So then they cut to someone, the close-ups on me, and what they do is a person with a shoe, literally the fabric of a
The
sponge
sponge shoe. Yes, that's what I
that you
thought.
wash your dishes with.
I love it.
They molded it to look like the shoe.
The shoe.
I love
They
TV.
put the camera right on my face,
Beautiful.
and they
Yeah.
yelled action, and they threw the sponge,
sponge
shaped
shoe.
like a shoe at my face.
And that's where the acting came in.
Yeah, that's where the actor
Oh
was.
my God, you were brilliant.
That's
You were brilliant.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Well, I had a good director too. I can't remember who the director was, but I really enjoyed the director. So
That is so funny. I
That
would have
is
never
funny.
thought it was a sponge shoe.
yeah,
I love
it was.
that.
Yeah, what
That's
else is
kinda
going
how
to
they
be,
did it.
man?
Well, I just
Come
thought
on.
it was like computer graphics, or because they got so many ways to do things.
Yeah, like make a sponge.
Yeah, you
shoe.
would think that, huh? But
Yeah.
no, it was just. I mean, it was so quick. I mean, if you watch the episode, you'll see it's just a shot of her kicking the shoe off, and then they go cut right to me.
And
with,
hit
So they
yeah.
did it one time, or did you do it a
That's a
couple?
good
or-
question.
I think we did it. We did it several times.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
I remember correctly, we did it several times.
Yeah.
It was-
Oh, because they had
That
to
was
get
a
that
fun
right
scene.
reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a physical actor, and I love physical comedy, and I love
Yeah.
doing. I back in the day, I was a stunt man, so when stuff like
Oh,
when stuff like that happens, I eat it up. I love shtick and slapstick, and I love getting punched and hit, and
yeah.
when I used to do stage combat a lot, and I was really good at it, and I always loved getting beat up or hit because I could,
Yeah.
You're so good.
You're kicking my butt.
it's.
I love it.
You're killing me.
That is.
I
just
remember when the
great.
shoe hit my eye. I actually did a take. They didn't use it where I went,
Oh, why not? They
They
should have
shoulda
used that.
but they didn't use that one because it was
Yeah.
too quick. I guess it was too much. It was too involved.
Too
So I
much,
think they
yeah.
just
Yeah.
ended the one with going and
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
But
They like subtle.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's one of the reasons I got the part too, because I come from a background of music theater, children's theater. My comedy is always over the top. I've got a bachelor's and a master's in acting, and so all my niche was always over the top comedy. Like if I could make my living doing nothing but Disney for the rest of my life, I would be a happy camper.
There you go.
You know,
Yep.
because I still watch Nickelodeon shows and they're fun. So
They are. They're funny.
yeah,
They're funny.
That's kind of my wheelhouse. The comedy that you saw me do on Yerba, the over the top silly stuff. That's what I really
were
get
good.
off on.
Yeah.
You were
I
really
enjoy
good
it.
at
So
it.
I want more parts like that to come.
Well,
Let 'em
I
know.
predict they're coming your way.
That's right.
The musical performances were awesome. I mean, that big dance scene, you had patches over your eyes, but you could hear it. I mean, what did you think about that?
Oh, I'm a big it was Michael Jackson song.
It
right?
was.
So
I Want You
you guys
Back.
don't know this about me, but I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan.
Awesome.
That's my era. So that's when I grew up. So when they played that song, they never ever showed me, but when the camera was not on me, I was always
You were grooving, huh?
They did have some shots. I watched it today. They had it was very subtle. They
I'm
included some-
bebopping in the background, but you'll never see me doing that on the show. But yeah, I just remember, because whenever they all cut, I would just take off and I'd watch the dance. It was amazing. All these dancers, doing the dance. It was kind of cool, But I just remember enjoying listening to the song, and you never think that Chancellor of Europe is a hardcore Michael Jackson fan.
Hey, Michael Jackson was worldwide, baby.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
Everywhere.
when I go to the gym every day, that's my workout music.
Oh, so cool.
His history, I think it's his history track and Dangerous and all that stuff.
Nice.
But anyway,
Yeah. Well, number 6 is what was it like to work with those eye patches?
Well, when the cameras were rolling, it was what it was. I just had to act like the Chancellor of Yerba, and I couldn't see anything. It was weird not being able to see the people I was acting with. Um, but it was a challenge, but it was fun. I made it work. I used it in my benefit. You know, the frustration of not being able to see anything. I used that frustration for the Chancellor of Europe. You know, because you even hear it come out in that line. See, fuck, all I see is you know, that was real. Just because I couldn't see anything. So yeah, you know, like eating the French fries and dipping them into something wrong.
Yeah. Where's the dip?
He likes
Yeah.
American food, by the way. I mean, French fries.
Yeah,
that's-
exactly.
Oh, everybody likes French fries.
So,
Oh yeah, baby.
So yeah, it was. I made it work for me. But as soon as I yelled cut, I'd be like,
Oh, I can see again.
"Oh, were you the one I was just doing my lines to?"
Yeah. So you told us about when it aired and everything, how you were by yourself. But when somebody else you know finally saw it, what kind of response did you get?
A lot of my undergrad fellow students who at that time had young kids, they were the one who were all reaching out to me
Yeah.
and saying, "We just saw you. Our kids
Aw.
love that. It's our favorite show." I had one. I had I had one guy that I used to see at auditions all the time. His daughter was just so starstruck by me. That
Isn't that
you
so
know,
cute?
yeah,
That's
they
beautiful.
had
That's
me
beautiful.
sign a pictured autograph. I think they were able to get a picture from
Aw.
me as the chancellor, and I signed it. But sometimes, like my a couple of my friends from undergrad are teachers now, so they would put me on video right in the middle of class. And they
Oh.
said, "Hey, do you guys remember the Chancellor of Europe from?" And then you hear the,
Oh.
Oh. He's a
You know,
star.
You're a
man.
teaching
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
yeah, I never thought of it as that big of a deal because I
huge.
mean, yeah, but I guess it did. I'm getting I got more of a following
Mm,
and praise for it later.
yeah.
You know, as people, I remember my niece who didn't, my wife's brother's daughter, uh, about 6, 7 years ago, we went up to my mother-in-law's for Thanksgiving, and at first, you know, when she was a kid, so she wasn't really like too impressed. You know, oh, this is your uncle, your new uncle. I said, oh, okay, and you know, she's a preteen, so she's got that kind of attitude,
Yeah, that
whatever.
aloofness.
But then her dad says, "You know who he is, don't you?" I said, "No."
Oh,
Don't-
here we go.
don't do it,
Here
don't-
we
He's
go.
the Chancellor of Europe from
Yerba.
Turbis. And all of a sudden her whole attitude changed.
Changed.
And now she was just like,
He's
Hello,
my
buddy.
he's my uncle. This is my uncle.
I love it.
I love
so I
it.
guess around that time for the kids, that was a big deal show. And I
Oh,
just
yeah.
was not
It
aware of
still
that.
is.
Yeah.
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 And even the teenagers that I talk to now, who remember that show from when they were kids, like
And that's something.
millennials. Like I'm mentoring a young gentleman who just graduated from acting college, and he's he's just so excited that I'm mentoring him because his first big introduction to me was the Chancellor of Europe.
Aw.
Yeah, so it always warms my heart because I'm an actor who's very insecure, like most of us are, and you know, and because sometimes I work, sometimes I don't, so I'm always questioning whether I'm any good or not. So it's like when someone reaches out to you randomly on social media and just praises, "Oh, you're the Chancellor of Europe," or I get a random phone call from a friend from college saying, "My daughter really is dying to meet you, wants to talk to you, blah blah blah." It's like, wow. So it kind of boosts my
Yeah.
ego a little bit, boosts my gives me my mojo back, if you know what
Yeah.
I mean.
Your
Oh,
work is
yeah.
being recognized.
Before you became the chancellor, how did you become an actor?
How did I become an actor? Well, that's
Yeah.
a fully loaded question, but one I'm very happy to share.
All right.
I started acting in high school. I took drama. I moved to I kind of grew up in a tough neighborhood outside of DC called Landover, Maryland. So I was kind of a bad kid, but somehow I ended up with my grandmother in a nicer part of Prince George's County, Maryland. And the school there was High Point High School. And at that high school, the teacher there, he was very involved in like having shows and being in the arts and having acting classes and stuff like that and singing classes. So I had to choose an elective, and I chose drama. And
Nice.
it turns out I had some skills that I didn't know about. I think the very first play I did was a half-hour version of MASH. Now
Oh yeah,
you
I
guys might
know.
I don't know, Bennett probably doesn't
He's
remember,
too
but
young.
Oh yeah.
yeah, but you guys remember there was a half-hour one-act play version of it. It was the first play when I moved to the new neighborhood, and I played Ho-John.
Hmm.
Now funny, now funny enough, Ho-John is Korean, but there weren't a lot of brown-skinned people in the theater department, so I played Ho-John, and the point is that I remember hearing the laughter, and I felt very comfortable on stage. And when I heard the laughter from the people in the audience, I liked it. It gave me a rush, because you never know. Like a lot of a lot of times in high school when you're thrown into acting, you don't know if you're gonna like being on stage or not. But I felt right at home, and I felt comfortable, and then I don't know, I just got more involved, and I got into the musical, and then I all of a sudden I was doing auditioning for plays and getting in all the plays, and I got into the International Thespian Society, which is a high school thing, and then we went to the one act in Maryland. The high schools that had more prevalent drama departments, they had these statewide competitions where they would take one act plays and compete against other high schools. It's like a football. You go to play the other.
Like a
You know,
national or
yeah, yeah.
something.
So we did this play my sophomore year called The Trysting Place, and it was like a period piece set in the 20s. So it was like a silent era, over the top, melodramatic. So we took that to the one act play festival, and out of nowhere I won the award for best supporting actor
Oh
on my
Wow.
wow.
sophomore year at the one act state
You found
festival.
your gift. It sounds
Yeah,
like
and
you
I
found your gift.
I think, and that play, and I was just I remember having so much fun doing that play. um I was like, I think I decided then and there, this is what I really want to do. And my high school drama teacher, who's actually out here in LA now teaching high school still, inspiring other kids, he told me that I should pursue it. And it's odd for a Middle Eastern brown skinned kid to pursue theater as a career in the mid 1980s, but after that, that's kind of what triggered it. That's what started it. And then I decided if I was good. Now, when I told my dad is he's a traditional Pakistani man, and and he wasn't really crazy about the idea of me. Exactly, because they wanted something like, be a doctor, be a lawyer, business, something a little more practical. But I think my dad was just tickled when I found something that took me off the streets.
Amen.
That's a good
Yeah.
parent.
And because here's the thing, when I found acting in high school, I all of a sudden became a straight A student.
Mm.
I had perfect attendance.
Okay.
I
You had
became,
to if you wanted to participate in that.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly. And that's what happened. I
Yeah.
remember when
Wow.
I first got there, I couldn't be in some of the plays because I didn't have at least a C average. But so then I had perfect attendance, and I found something I really loved. And my high school drama teacher, he told me, he said to me, why don't you pursue this? Why don't you go to college? And that may for this, and maybe your dad will be a little more supportive of it. So I just, so my my high school drama teacher, he encouraged me to, and he recommended a school. I don't know how I found out about the school, but he said he knew the school in Virginia. He had some connections, Shenandoah University, Conservatory of Music. He said,
Wow.
you should audition for them. And he helped me work on my audition. And he said, why don't you try to go there? And I said, well, going to college for acting wasn't really on my radar, but why not? So he helped me work on my audition, and I auditioned and I got in.
Dude, you got to
Beautiful.
tell us the name of your teacher because it sounded like he was
Oh,
so
yeah,
involved.
yeah. His name is Mr. Robert Rotenberry. Robert
Robert
Rotenberry.
Rotenberry.
And
Rotenberry.
he's
I
out
love it.
here now. He might be retired now, but he's out here in Redondo Beach doing the same thing, teaching kids
Wow.
and inspiring them. Do you know he has 3 students that have been on Broadway from that high school that I went to?
Wow.
So,
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
my best friend James Brown Orleans is doing The
Mm-hmm.
Lion King on Broadway for 20 years now,
Mm.
who was my like first hero and first director. He's the one who directed MASH, but also an incredible actor. And he's in on Broadway doing The Lion King. He went to that same high school. And the other gentleman you may have heard of him, his name is Joey Sorge, who also went to that. He was a handsome guy, always played all the leads. He played, Danny Zuko in Grease, and he goes from Broadway show to Broadway show right now. Right now he's in the Michael Jackson show on
Wow.
Broadway. So,
That is very impressive.
and
Very impressive.
all three of us ended up, being successful in our careers.
Great.
And it was kind of cool, the diversity, because James was black, I was brown, and Joey was white. So it was cool.
Like the
It's
three
kind of
amigos of all shades.
yeah,
I love
yeah,
it.
of our
I love
school.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I kind
Oh,
of figured James Brown would be black.
yeah. It's like,
yeah, yeah.
hey!
But he had a dash Orleans at the end, like New
Mm.
Orleans.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
And a lot of people think that was a made up stage name. I said, no, that's his
that's
real
his
name.
real name.
He's,
Yeah.
I mean, he's first generation Ghana, West Africa, but I can't remember the story of how James Brown Orleans came to be.
That's a cool
But
name, man.
people always thought that's a made up stage name, isn't it?
Mm.
Is that your real name? No, that's
A
his.
lot of actors use their real
Yeah.
name.
I do. I still do theater just to keep my tools sharp because I have a lot of friends in the industry. Sometimes an up and coming screenwriter will send me a script and I'll say, hey, do you want to hear it out loud? Why don't I gather some actors and on Zoom, we'll all just read it out loud so you can hear it out loud. And we have this thing here in LA. They're called 99-seat theaters. We do have theater here in LA
Yes.
where they pay minimum wage. And this is basically done for actors who want to keep their tools sharp while they're waiting for their big film roles to come along.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's a way to stay on your game while you're waiting for a big break to come in. And the wonderful thing is most of these theaters, they have understudies. So
Right.
if I were to do this show for minimum wage and it's a good part and I'm having a good time with it, and say
Something comes up.
Spielberg comes calling,
And you got to go.
Spielberg has called me, I gotta go.
They got an
An
The
understudy.
show goes on.
You also did a late night sketch on Conan show. Can you
Oh,
tell us
you
about
remember
that?
that?
Yeah.
Oh, we dig deep.
We
We-
dig
Oh
deep,
my
brother.
God.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, I did do the late. My wife was so tickled by that sketch. She couldn't
Aw.
wait for it to come on.
Uh,
So no, I was actually, what was I doing at the time? I don't remember. I was working my survival job and I got a random call from a casting director,
there you go.
Conan OBrien's casting director,
Mhm.
Wow.
and he said, I just saw you on another sketch comedy that I had done before Conan. I had done this comedian by the name of Mencia.
Oh, Mind of Mencia.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, yes.
So I was on a skit on his show. So the casting director, and I think I had on my reel at that time, I had my Mind of Mencia skit on my reel at that
Mhm.
time. So I guess the casting director of Conan was looking for a Middle Eastern guy who would be okay with Andy Richter kissing him straight on the lips. So I said, sure.
He said, "Sure."
Why not?
It's acting.
It's acting.
Yeah. Well, I think, and then when we saw the skit that night, 2 nights later, basically the skit was Andy Richter. What's on your bucket list of things to do,
Uh-huh.
or whatever? And I guess one of his things on his bucket list was to randomly fly to a Middle Eastern country and kiss a Middle Eastern shawarma
Okay.
vendor on the lips, and then fly back
Oh,
to
Conan is
Yeah,
funny.
yeah,
He's funny.
yeah.
yeah.
And
Without
I
getting
guess it was pretty funny.
without
Yeah.
getting
Oh
his
my
head
God.
cut off.
I know.
Right?
Getting out of
Yeah,
town
I
quick.
It was funny because I now you can, at the time I couldn't find the skit anywhere after I watched it that night. But
Mhm.
now you can just nowadays you can just Google it and it
I
pops up.
love Google and YouTube.
But that
You
was
can
it was a
find
fun experience. Andy Richter was very nice, and uh, I don't know what to say about the kid. The kiss was it was a kiss. It happened very fast. It was a little weird, but it was funny. It was fun.
I love Conan. His sense of
think we-
humor.
Yeah,
is
Conan
just-
is insane.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
insane.
he runs. When they yell action, he ran. He just grabbed me,
Smack.
and then runs off, and that's it. I said,
Oh my
okay.
God.
There you go.
Wow. Okay.
Bucket list. I got to revise my bucket list.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you want to go to a Middle Eastern country and kiss a shawarma vendor? Or
I want to go to Beverly Hills and kiss a CEO.
There you go.
Let's see how that goes, huh?
But you should contact Conan because
I know.
He'll make
do
it
it.
happen.
He'll
for
do
you.
I
it.
know. You probably would. Yeah.
I did shoot a show on Netflix, but I can't say what it is because
Yes.
I
Of
signed
course.
an NDA. I shot it in November.
Mhm.
It's going to air in late April. I got a small part on the show on Netflix.
Awesome.
And, but again, I can't really say much more
can't.
than that because of what I
Of
signed an
course.
NDA saying
Yeah.
that I have to keep it a secret.
Yeah.
So other than that, yeah, I'm just auditioning a lot and starting to stay positive, and
You
know,
are a
I-
working
Yeah,
actor.
he's doing that thing, man. He's doing
Yeah.
that thing.
What do you think would happen if Victorious came back and you were a part of it? Would the Chancellor still be in office? Would you still be wearing that eye patch?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
What is your thoughts
Did
on
he have an
that?
operation that make his eyesight come back?
Get that LASIK surgery?
Yeah, that's right. LASIK
There you
is
go.
that.
I know.
Yeah, yeah. If they brought
that
it
would
back.
be a question for the writers and producers.
Yeah,
and
we
if
know.
they come back, I'd be
Yeah.
jumping on. I'd
Woo!
be jumping on with bells on or with eye patches on.
That's what we want to hear.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to. I would love to revisit that
Yeah.
character. Are
Yeah.
you kidding me?
That
Yeah, it would be so much fun.
It would.
Because
Oh
there's
my
so much,
God.
yeah. Because I think I'm even because I'm older now. I'm even more suited for the character now with my gray on the
Yeah.
side. and,
Yeah, yeah.
You know, a bit more curmudgeon. You know. You know. But yeah, that would be a dream if they brought that back.
Oh,
It would
man.
be so
Yeah.
much fun to go revisit that role and do
Yeah.
it again.
Yeah.
But yeah. Maybe you
People
guys
have
can put
been
the feelers
Oh,
out
screaming.
there.
that's
Yeah,
what we're
you
doing.
never
Now.
know.
That's what we're doing now,
You
man.
never know.
That's
Everyone's
what we're doing
screaming
now.
for a reboot.
I wanted to ask because you mentioned the cutting room floor, and I think you mentioned one little moment when you got your shoe kick in the eye. But even episodes that air might have little moments that get cut. Do you know if there are any moments, any lines that you said, or anything from your scenes in Locked Up that may not have been up on screen?
I think it's safe to say everything made it.
All right.
Oh, that is unusual.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is
it-
awesome.
Yeah, and I always get paranoid when that happens, because the mistake that I used to make is that when I got on a show, it was always a big deal for me. When I got on the show, I'd hype it up on Facebook, I'd
Oh,
hype
we
it up
used to do
everywhere.
I made
Yeah.
that mistake one
Ah.
time.
Yeah.
I'd hype it up, and then it aired, and then I'm not on it. And then I'm
Yeah. Editing got you.
Yeah, I never
Yeah.
did that again when
Yeah.
I did that.
Yeah, because
You don't
because I
know.
remember I got a really nice guest starring role on New Girl. It was a big role. I was there all week with Zoe Deschanel and Jake Johnson, and I had a great time on set. But I had a nice monologue, a silly monologue about the weather You know, he's just this random uncle that was at a birthday party, you know, smelling flowers and, you know, talking to people about it. It was a very funny role. I was
Yeah.
very cast nicely in it. But I never even watched the episode. What ended up happening was I ended up being featured background in it. Now I still got
Yeah.
the guest star credit, and I
Oh
still got
yeah,
the
Right.
guest star
that's kind of
paycheck.
more money. That's
Yeah.
right, baby.
But you
Yeah,
want your work to be seen, though.
Yeah, but you know.
but I end basically there was a lot of close-ups on me in the final
Mm-hmm.
cut, but the new girl one was a bit of a heartbreaker because I thought it was fun what I did, and I got really annoyed too because out of all the guest stars, I was the only guest star who got his lines cut. You know, because the other twos were kept in. But again, it did move the story forward. There probably wasn't enough time.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
Um,
vision, I
you
call it. Vision.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You know, who knows what it was. You grumble about it for a day or two, and then you gotta move.
You move
You
Carry
forward.
gotta
on.
move
Yeah.
on about it.
Yeah.
You know, because at that time, you know, where you get every wow, I need the footage for my reel and blah 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 because I want people to see that I've been on stuff. But so good question, Ben. Yeah, that was one show, you know, where I was kind of disappointed. You know, because it was an amazing week on set. Oh, actually, I did do another show. I did a show called Crowded
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Oh.
with James Burrows, the director of Cheers
Oh,
and all
yeah.
those big shows in the 70s and 80s, Cheers and Taxi or something. Crowded, it was an NBC pilot. Patrick Warburton was the main star,
Oh.
and Carrie Preston. And I was a taxi driver who was taking them from the.
But of
Imagine
course.
that.
Yeah, right.
I hate to say, I think they cut it because the role might have been a little too stereotypical at the time.
Mm.
My one line that I had, it was just taking them from the airport to their home, but it ended up getting cut. I had one line to them, and it ended up getting cut. So basically, when you watch the show, you just see them leaving the airport, and then next thing you know, they're walking through their home door. So
Mm.
the
Oh,
drive in the taxi was
was
cut
cut out.
Okay.
altogether.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
again, yeah, it happens.
Oh,
It
it
happens.
does.
Oh, yeah, it's happened to
I
us
was
too.
again bummed out by it, but it is what it is, you know.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
That's
I
the
can, you know, you
business.
can still get IMDb credits for these things, but you get it credited as uncredited. You know, it gets put on IMDb as uncredited or something like that.
So, is there any social media information you'd like to share where people can follow you or?
Yes.
So I'm on Instagram at Mueen Jahan. Everything on my Instagram is all behind the scenes shots of me with stars, and that's the main thing. I'm also on Facebook, and I think those are the only two real social medias that I'm on. Everybody tells me I need to do TikTok, but I don't. I'm
Yes.
trying. Yes, Bennett, you know. So what I need to do is I'm actually brainstorming with a bunch of friends of mine to write me some short skits that I can put on
Yes.
TikTok.
I suggest you do Chancellor skits.
There you
I
go.
think I think okay, so get this. It's
Hmm.
funny you I got a friend of mine, Gabriel Budafato. He did another Nickelodeon show where he plays this over the top kind of Latin crazy character. You know, with a Spanish accent, and we thought it would be funny to put the Chancellor of Yerba and this he's like a maestro or something. I can't remember the exact character, but we thought maybe put those two together in a skit, and that would be funny,
That's it.
you know.
There you
It
So
would
go.
be a big hit. You could have that eye patch on trying to brush your teeth or, you know, just doing all kind of funny, crazy stuff. And people would watch it. They'd be like, I found the Chancellor. The world is so crazy
It's
and
crazy.
so angry right now that people just want simple, funny, simple, make me laugh, make me smile. I mean, it could be a dog, a cat. It could be how to make a pie. It could be some guy walking down the street. It doesn't matter. And speaking of skits, we always do an Andre's Grandma Act Out.
Oh yeah. Here we
Um,
go. Here we go.
So if you want to participate, react, or say something while we're doing it, it usually lasts a minute. Percy will start it by saying, what, scene?
I'll say roll, and
Yeah.
then to end it, I'll say scene.
Before I do that, this is Victoriously Crazy. You can follow us on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, or as I like to say, I know this is old, but I'm going to say it, the talk tick. But anyway, follow us, like, subscribe, and make sure that if you like this podcast, give your comments to this excellent guest that we had, Mr. Mueen Jahan. Excellent, excellent podcast. You are such a great guest. It's been such a great time with you.
Well, you were great hosts and great interviewers. I believe that's a skill. People don't think about that, but you were wonderful. You're very generous interviewers. So I appreciate it.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. So here's the skit, and that'll be the end of the podcast. So
Roll.
In Yerba.
Who is this strange person in my country?
Who you calling strange?
What are you screaming?
Yerba.
What? I do nothing. What you talking?
What is Yerba? Is that pie? Steak?
What? I can't hear you. What you saying?
I don't know why you can't hear me. I'm speaking in an even voice. Where is my strawberry float?
Your strawberry float shoot in my eye and over my head. I don't know where. I know nothing.
I don't mind a little eye juice. Give it to me.
We don't have strawberry in this country. Huh? We use them for hair shampoo. Okay?
Oh! Cantaloupe? Pineapple?
I give you what is strawberry anyway? Something you put in your eye, you put in your mouth, you put in your nose.
You don't know what strawberry is? What kind of chancellor are you?
Is that strange portion from country you come from?
I come from where the strawberry roam free, and I'm going back there because it ain't none here in Yerba. I'm out!
Cut.
We don't allow drugs in my country, huh?
I'm definitely out!
Free country.
Cut.
Strawberry is some strange drug.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, well, bring me some strawberry.
It'll cost you $29.95.
$29.95. Okay, no problem.
Cash!
Is that? Okay.
We got a deal.
All right. $29.95. I have somewhere in 29 for strawberry.
Yeah, baby!
Okay.